Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking at the Koenig Arius. I was really pumped to get this guy the other day. I traded my Shirogorov Neon Light, which I thought was too small for me and not worth 650 bucks. And I got this guy, which I think is the perfect size for me and definitely worth however much this particular version would go for. So it is a flipper, frame lock, with kind of a stone washed, bead blasted kind of blade finish. I'm not really sure. Super smooth, drop shut, very smooth opening. Really, really happy with this knife. It also kind of has the, is it the Robert Carter BBM, the one that everybody's trying to get, that I see on Reddit and all that, but kind of the BBM / Annex style milling out of the top of the blade, where there's a hole, but then there's also kind of this groove, and that allows for some flicking action that you can do with your thumb or whatever finger you want to use. Don't really know if I can do it with any other finger besides, there we go, besides those two. So this particular version, the previous owner bought these anodized screws as well as a Timascus backspacer, which this is the first piece of Timascus that I have in my collection. How about that? Pretty cool. I will probably be investing in a Timascus clip as well whenever they go back in stock on Koenig's website. But until then, very happy with this guy. I was a little not disinterested with this knife, but seeing other versions on Reddit and wherever else I've seen knives, I thought the really cool ones had the carbon fiber full scales, and Dr. Funky has marbled carbon fiber with copper shred in it, which is an awesome look, and I thought that was sick. And so I was like looking at this guy, and I was like, okay, look kind of lame, a little boring, but we'll try it out. Everybody loves it. And when I got it, I realized that, see if we can show it here. No, I don't know if we'll be able to. You can barely see, there you go, kind of like a pinstripe on the handle. There you go. That's a really good look right there. Kind of a pinstripe, alternating pinstripe pattern, which is very subtle, but also kind of really pops out and makes the knife look really good. And not only that, but it also you can definitely feel it too, which is a nice touch, and I'm very happy with that. So, super smooth. Honestly, the only thing that gets me a little bit is if you listen, you can kind of hear that like metal on metal scraping sound, which you really don't hear with a lot of other knives. And it also kind of like twangs at the end just slightly. And I think that's just because this is a full titanium knife. It's not hollowed out, no lightning pockets, which I think is the new thing with the newer Arius models. But who cares? That's just the smallest gripe that I have with this knife. Other than that, very pleased. It's got a huge kind of flipper hole. No, that's not the right word. Flipper groove, I think. Here, let me, if we pull out Shirogorov Hati, nope, this one doesn't have it either. Never mind. My F95 has it, and these are like the exact same knife, minus material, so I just assumed it had it. But I also think that's an older model of the Hati, so sorry about that. Kind of digging around, seeing if I could find anything, but that's okay. My F95 is not at home at the moment, so I can't do comparison with that. Anyways, I like the design of the pocket clip. Very subtle. It also kind of like, there's a cutout between the lock bar and the lock side handle, which is cut out the same shape, which I think is a really nice touch. Attention to detail there. Blade, nice finish. It's gonna hide wear really well, I assume. Not that this guy will probably see that much wear. Nice little sharpening choil down here between the flipper. I do like the swedge up here. I want to call this a harpoon design, but I know it's not. Excuse me. It's probably more of a drop point. But thumb ramp does not have any jimping, which I'm okay with because I think that would be a little, I think it would go against the overall design a little bit. This knife is very smooth. Like, without zooming in and showing you the pinstripes, even if so, it's a smooth design. No real rough edges, sharp points besides the tip, obviously. Everything's kind of rounded off in a very beautiful manner. The backspacer has a little bit of jumping, as you can see on the top. I don't know if it has, nope, none on the bottom. A little bit of jimping on the lock bar too, which is a nice touch. So when you choke up, really nice. Let's see. No lock bar. Actually, is there a lock bar insert? Yeah, there is. Really nicely hidden too. It doesn't even come out the top. But super smooth action. Was very surprised by that. Another thing that I really appreciate about this knife is that if you look, the pivot screw kind of has a flat top, which holds it in place so that when you unscrew this guy, it's not free moving and it doesn't just spin as this spins, which is kind of annoying with some of the other knives like the Shirgorovs, but it's really only an issue if you over tighten it, which I don't really do. Lockup is very solid, right around the 50% mark, maybe a little less. Pretty light too, given that it's all titanium. Coming at, well, on paper it's not. On paper it's 6 ounces, which is definitely on the heavier side, but really when it's closed you can feel it. You can feel the heft a little bit more than when it's open, when it's really kind of well balanced out. Balancing right there where your fingers would go. You're holding it, so very nice. Overall length is 8.5 ounces, 8.5 inches. Blade length is 3.5. And the handle is just under 5. So if we want to do size comparison, we can pull back out the Shirgorov HTR. Just about the same size. We can do my pair 2, which is even a little bit smaller. A little bit of camera jerk there. Sorry about that. Not very professional of me. Let's get back on track with the 940, which is a small knife, but is dwarfed by the Arius. So as you can see, it's right in that, you know, kind of average range for large end folders. If we pull up the Sebenza, almost the exact same size. So pretty nice. Handle thickness, it's a little bit thicker, which is nice, I think, because it's contoured. It's not just flat. It's got a little bit of rise and fall, but not too much to be very noticeable. So thickness is 0.55 inches, pretty common. What else? We got the right hand. They don't make left versions of this. This particular one has the black titanium handle. Like I said before, you can get other handle options. They have like distressed titanium, which is basically kind of like a stone-washed equivalent. They also have carbon fiber, regular, just kind of the gray natural color of titanium, and I think they have others. I know they have a marbled carbon fiber too, but got the stone wash, bead blast kind of thing. Blade steel is CTS 204P. Never heard of that, but given how much everyone loves this knife, I assume it's a good enough steel to where not causing any issues. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this knife. I think the Timascus backspacer is a really nice touch, and I'd love to add the pocket clip to really accent it. Also because you can see the acid stone washed kind of look isn't carried over to the pocket clip here, which really isn't a big deal, but just kind of if you keep staring at it on this side, you're like, So be fun to add that. So But yeah, this guy, oh, let's see. I think it's around $560. The backspacer is like another 150, and then so is the pocket clip. So given that I just have the backspacer, I guess this guy's pushing like 700, which is a lot, but the box is beautiful. Very nice presentation of the box. I wish I had brought it down with me, but it's got a little magnetic seal. It's got a little cloth. It came with a sticker, the COA, and the additional hardware, the not blue one. So yeah, but there we go. This has been the Koenig Arius.